Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that if you're returning. How you doing today? All right, before we get started, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, please do so. All of the information is in the description box below, so you can get a hold of me or Trish, okay? And all of the important information that we always want you guys to have is always in the description box below. And don't forget, tonight we go live on my channel at 7 o'clock, okay? And it's not just going to be me and Trish. We're going to have a special guest tonight. So I hope you guys are ready, okay? So you're going to need more than just one cup of coffee and more than just a few pieces of chocolate, okay? So I hope you're ready for this. I really do. All right. So the other day, like 2 days ago, I got something in the mail from a subscriber. I don't know who it is, okay, who sent it, because it was sent via eBay, and it's a book. And it's a survival guide, okay, and it was written by someone who lived through the crisis of Sarajevo in 1992 to 1993. So I wanted to discuss this and what is entailed in this book. I've read through it, and when I tell you, you remember watching like the news and the media and stuff like that about what happened in Sarajevo and stuff like that. But to have the in writing from someone who lived through it means so much more. It's just unbelievable. Okay, and I want to thank whoever bought this for me. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know how much I love things like this, things about history, okay, things that we can learn from, because, you know, I believe that if we learn from history, if we remember history, because, you know, the saying, history has a way of repeating itself, okay? We, you know, if we take things from history and we apply them to today and see what's happening to right now, we can prepare ourselves better for what lies ahead. I hope I said that right. Okay. So I'm going to crack this book open again and read a few pages, and then we'll go through the entire book. Well, it's going to take a few videos, you know, because I don't like my videos to be too long. Okay. And what I'll do is I will, you know, label each video so you know what they mean. You know what I mean? I'll do Sarajevo, like this will be Sarajevo episode 1, Sarajevo episode 2, Sarajevo episode 3, because you know, so you guys can go back and say, okay, this is what the reference was. This was what the reference was. Because I know you guys like to have references. And because there's not going to be any links, because we're going by a book. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for, because this was bought off of eBay. So I'm going to look for a link so you guys can, if you want to buy this book, I'm going to look for a link, whether it's through thriftybooks.com, which is where I normally buy my books, or even if it's Barnes & Noble or something. So you guys can, if you want, you can buy this book. Okay, I'm going to look for a link for you. Okay, so, oh boy. All right. So, I love books. I really do. Especially when it has to do with our history. Oh boy, do I. Okay. So the first chapter, I feel like we're in school. Okay, kids. the first school, the first chapter, it's called Dart Game. So on the 5th of April, 1992, around Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia, and Herzegovina, which had about 500,000 inhabitants around the city in the valley of the river Miljacka, and that's Miljacka, surrounded by mountains, which made it the host of the 1984 Winter Olympics. In the very center of what was Yugoslavia appeared 260 tanks, 120 mortars, and innumerable anti-aircraft cannons, sniper rifles, and other small arms. All of that was entrenched around the city, facing it. At any moment from any of these spots, any of these arms could hit any target in the city, and they did hit, indeed, civilian housing, museums, churches, mosques, hospitals, cemeteries, people on the streets. Everything became a target. All exits from the city, all points of entry were blocked. Climate. Sarajevo's climate is very continental, with a short, hot summer when nights are still cold due to constant breeze coming from the surrounding mountains. Winters are rich with snow from November until April. Snow had been recorded in August and in June, a fact which can be found in old Sarajevo chronicles. War so far hasn't changed the climate. The moon is still shining, the sun still rises, rains fall, and it snows too. Modern Sarajevan. He has to have, and on a visible spot, at least one accreditation, seemingly just a piece of paper with his photograph. But beware, accreditation is the law in the besieged city. Proof of belonging to someone which makes you important. Those with local ID are not more than second-rate citizens. So the modern Sarajevan has the accreditation, weapons, a good car, and a complete uniform. The owner of a bulletproof vest is regarded with honor. Wow. The one who doesn't wear uniform has an axe in his right hand for cutting down trees and a series of canisters on the left shoulder. His image would be complete with a mask against poison gas. A modern woman from Sarajevo cuts wood, carries humanitarian aid, smaller canisters filled with water, does not visit a hairdresser nor a cosmetician. She is slim and she runs fast. Girls regularly visit the places where humanitarian aid is being distributed. They know the best aid packages according to their numbers. They get up early to get the water, visit cemeteries to collect wood, and greet new young refugees. Many are wearing gold and silver lilies as earrings, as pins on the necklaces. Sarajevo is a city of slender people. Its citizens would be authors of the most up-to-date diets. No one is fat any longer. The only thing you need is to have your city under the siege. There lies the secret of a great shape. Everybody is wearing their youthful clothes in teenage size. Sarajevans lost about 4,000 tons. 400,000 citizens lost about 10 kilos each. They greet each other with, "Take care." Interior. It is adapted to the potential source of danger. Corridors and living rooms have been turned into woodsheds. Hosts and visitors are sitting around the stove. Feed it and stare into the fire. Everyone is within reach. Books, teacups, clothes, water, food. Everyone is ready to run into a staircase at the sound of a grenade, or into a basement if there is one. If the basement, everyone has a place, either the one that was fought for or the one which had to be accepted. The space is ruled by the laws of community. Basements and staircases are special territories. In the beginning of the war, the new social category emerged: owners of staircases. They established office hours. Those who were idle write down the name of each visitor, the ID number, hours of arrival and of departure, all very precisely in a little book, a real spy book, in fact, like the proof needed by a jealous husband or wife. Habitation. Habitation. Those who were lucky still live in their apartments. Refugees and those whose apartments have been burned or destroyed by grenades are inhabiting the apartments of those who left Sarajevo before or during the war. Temporary leases and bills of sales are being issued. Some entered flats by breaking the doors and changing locks. You can change the apartment if one of your friends manages to leave the town. Some people have 2 or 3 apartments depending on what each of them can offer: electricity, gas, water, or minimal security. They move from one apartment to another. Those who are looking for you will find you on the address where you collect humanitarian aid. Some are living in communes. Old families have disintegrated. New ones are being formed. Windows are gone, destroyed by perpetual detonations. It was kind of pleasant during the summer. Plastic came only with first rains, and people were fixing it to the window frames with wide tape used in factories for packing. And glue gave up under the rain and the winds, and then people used nails. Whoever had no plastic, more than precious item on the black market. Remember that. Real quick, get paper or, like your prepper notebook or pen, pencil, and write some of this stuff down. Like packing tape, plastic. Okay, you're going to want to remember some of this stuff. Cardboard boxes left behind by the humanitarian aid. The best, nails. Okay, like glue gave up under the rain and the winds. The people who used nails, then people used nails. Whoever had no plastic, more than a precious item on the black market. So plastic and nails were like black market type stuff. So, you know what I mean? So write this stuff down. Would close the windows and cardboard boxes left behind by the humanitarian aid. The best for the purpose proved to be those smaller sacks for the rice provided by UNPROFOR. That's UNPROFOR. I'm guessing that's their the place or name that the company, whatever, that did the humanitarian aid. The only thing you needed was a good friend who happens to be handling humanitarian aid. Some windows are protected by the lumber brought from the basements and roofs. Those homes are dark as graves. We the people are taking down doors from closets or rooms in order to fix the windows and damaged parts of apartments. Bricks can be found around destroyed buildings, are used by those who still have walls and holes to fill. For the sake of security, merely psychological security, one closes windows with heavy cupboards, mattresses, books, carpets. Windows are dark after daylight is gone. People accumulate all their precious belongings in some corner of the apartment which they consider safest. Bathrooms, which somehow often happen to be in the center, are storage for paintings, photographs, documents, jewelry, money, passports are in the bag next to the exit. In the bag are a few more items: medicine, Zwieback, thermos, canned pate, and blankets. So next is water. Okay, next is water. And water shortages may last for days or weeks. The reasons are always the same: no electricity or an act of terror. Then the search starts. First, one checks a basement. Then you go to Konak, and that's Konak, which serves only the privileged. Then to Sedam, Sedam, Brace on Bistric, where big lines are formed. Then in the neighborhood of Pionirska, that's Pionirska, Dolina, Dolina, where one waits under the snipers. Those who carry water do so depending on their strength and the number of canisters several times a day, traveling several kilometers, waiting in a line for at least 3 hours. The lucky ones with bicycles, which are pushed rather than driven. The same with the owners of baby carriages and former market carriages. Anything that rolls will do, for everything is easier than carrying the water by hand. In one of Sarajevo's neighborhoods, Alapazino, Polje, someone with a gun made holes in the water pipe running above a little stream, and water was pouring, and for hours people were hanging on the rotten bridge trying to collect as much of the precious liquid as possible. And the best thing that can happen is a discovery of water somewhere in the neighborhood where you live. It doesn't matter that the pipe emerges from the disaster left after the big Olympic Hall was burned to the ground. There is a pipe and there's water. And there are big lines with people who do not worry anymore whether the water is clean or not. One of the ways to find water is using dowsing rods. Life and your ability to survive is very much about natural talents. In this case, you put your electromagnetic waves against those of the water. Gifted magicians are searching for the water. Those more talented and skillful can even advise you how deep you should dig. It is known that even during the First World War, Austro-Hungarian troops had special divisions which consisted of dowsers, whose duty was to search for new wells. At that time, the water on the Eastern Front, also known as the Serbian, was very polluted. Yet with them and without them, it is the rain that brings consolation. Groove gutters are unfortunately damaged, and people stand in line in the rain, waiting with buckets for their portion of rainwater, day or night. It doesn't really matter. And people drink it and use it for doing laundry. It's very good for your hair, which becomes silky and shiny. Lack of water makes the people of Sarajevo very close to medieval knights and to French monarchs. They ration water as if they were Bedouins. 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 Long hair can be washed in 1.5 liters, the whole body in 2 or 3. All in little pots and pans with lukewarm or cold. And the washing machine is a household appliance from some long gone times. It has no function. And the women of Sarajevo are again first-class laundresses. The only thing lacking is a battledore, Battledore, lye soap, and a clean river to wash what they have. And to run the toilet, wastewater is collected. The water is brought from springs if they are not too polluted from the street. People of Sarajevo put daylight into maximum use. They go to sleep early in order not to use heating or electricity. They go to sleep early because they don't see in the dark. They go to sleep early because their curfew starts at 10 p.m. and ends at 5 a.m. They wake up at any time during the night. if there is a sign that water or electricity has come, these moments never last too long. Jeez. All right, guys, that's all for this video. We will continue tomorrow, okay? I only got to page 14, and there's 95 pages. But I hope that this is something that you guys will be interested in, okay? I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe. You stay positive. You keep prepping. And as always, fear less. And I'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock.